Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 50 of the Matt and John Make a Podcast. um, as you guys all know, we have been talking about this for the last few weeks now. We've essentially been a full year going. I believe so, Matt.
I think
or
the
give or take.
20. Well, somebody's popular. The 26th, sometime next week, or 28th, is officially the 1 year. But we decided to talk about, or reminisce about 1 year to start this show.
Yeah.
Before we get into other topics.
Yeah, I mean, I remember popping this question to you. I think I was.
I do.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? Like,
It was a text. Yeah, it was a text message. Something along the lines of, I don't know. Do you think you want to try to start a podcast or something? Or I don't know exactly what the words were.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sure, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, like,
And going into that, it was, then that step was,
yeah.
what do we do? What do we have to buy? Because we had nothing. So I pretty much researched all the tech stuff because that's more of my expertise relative compared to us two. And I have, like those magazines of that have all the tech stuff in it. So finally, after research, we bought the stuff, about $800 some bucks, and we split that between the two of us. Got these good Audio-Technica mic stands, microphones. They get the boom mic. Cover a little soundboard here. What brand is? I don't even know how to pronounce that. Wait, it's Bellringer. Bellringer. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Yeah, a little board there with built-in effects, which we never use because you don't want to. We don't need to. What else did we get? We spent. But originally what we wanted to do on camera. So we bought a cam. So I bought a camcorder.
Yeah, like that was. We tried that. It was like, this is so weird and awkward.
We bought a camcorder because that was like the cheapest option because we didn't want to go full on like expensive because you get to the really high end either camcorders or like a DSLR camera. It costs a lot of money. Well, I eventually bought a DSLR camera, and that alone was like $700. So that's basically almost 100% of what we bought. But yeah, who uses camcorders anymore? That was a funny thing. 10 years ago, you would see people with camcorders on vacation. Now it's just phones. So we bought that, and we were doing it here at John's house. We did it. We bought a cheap little table, and we had to. I bought a tablecloth, so it looked somewhat more professional.
Yeah.
So you don't see the legs and hide all the wires that are here, like off to the side here. There's just like spaghetti of cables. Actually, the first episode we did actually did not make YouTube because I couldn't edit it because the computer I had at the time, the laptop,
Shot.
was not strong enough to edit and burn it or reliably. It like the stuff would just kind of crash because I had that computer before college, so that was going into college, at least majority of college. So that is what the fall of 2010 and lasting to 14. So you can imagine the technology from then there compared to what we had to do for editing and stuff wasn't good. Like I'm sitting there like just frustrated out of my mind. So I decided I bought a new laptop off of Amazon. It's an Acer, and that is doing the work right now. It's doing a decent job. I mean, at least live streams are pretty decent, I would say. After playing around with OBS, because what we're using now is to record is OBS.
And for our live streams, StreamYard has just been a godsend. It took a while because we have gone through. It was like Discord, then we went into Zoom, and then for a short time, Google Meet wasn't giving us any problems, and then just
ran the first time,
right? And then it just wow, it just crapped on us.
Well, so we were doing video for I don't know how many episodes with the camcorder, and it was actually in this. It wasn't up here. It was actually in this room, kind of behind me. Yeah. We set up, and we also bought lights. So
those things were a pain in the butt to.
Yeah, well, those were the cheapest, but they do light up the damn place.
They do.
They're very convenient.
It was just hard getting it on the right angle
because it's the little square, and then have a little bracket at the bottom, and
a little stand there.
You could, a little stand, and they didn't run on. It would have been better. And downfall of these, and I don't have the name of the company, but it's like a Chinese company or brand. They didn't come with AC adapters or batteries, just the lights themselves. So we had to buy AC adapters with it, like a different brand, and setting that up, and the AC adapter, the cord wasn't that long, so there's not enough slack, so you have to set it up right. And looking back at it, it was just a cluster. So one day, we recording it here, we decided. Actually, I think you decided we're going to do audio,
which like it was just way more easier and convenient. And but as soon as we started doing because we didn't start our Dynamite and NXT reactions obviously until did we start right as soon as they
because we were because we were doing it during the weekly podcast, and we decided to try to take back Wrestling Talk because it was
that's right.
We decided to live stream because Wrestling Talk dominated our podcast.
Like it was a good 75% of our podcast, which I was like, you know what, I think it would be a good idea, because then too, if any big or major news came about too, we could also incorporate that onto that as well.
Yeah.
And then slowly on this podcast we could just talk about
anything else.
About anything else, sports, conspiracy theories, or just some
anything,
politics or whatever that has been going on. COVID obviously has been like a really big thing on here, just because
Antonio Brown. Back in the day.
Antonio Brown. We will eventually talk
what did Antonio Brown did now?
It's
retired, unretired, retired, and now unretired again. I don't know, but anyways, So yeah, we did audio for a while and just had pictures up, which was worse for me editing because I never kept track of the time stamps. So I would have to go back and listen and see, okay, where does the transitions go and find pictures to post. And then COVID happened.
Right.
And then we were forced to stay away.
Which then kind of introduced us to
Zoom.
To
and all the streaming platforms.
Right.
And so we did that for couple months there. At least March, through March, April, right. I believe probably most of May. I think either the end of May.
It was like basically right after your birthday that we that we then decided, okay, let's just go,
because everything it kind of I won't say calmed down, but there was more lax, and we got to the I think yellow phase here. So we did that, and we did this. Just decided to keep using the streaming platforms here, like Zoom, just to be on camera, and even if we're in the same place across the table from each other,
it looks better.
It looks better, and instead of just audio, it's something you can tangibly see, whether it's good or not. But I think it's a good way, and trying to work out the audio delays with obviously this microphone and a delay with actually video streaming. I think I got it down pretty good. So yeah, it's been pretty much a year. A lot of stuff. The COVID big topics. We had all the Antonio Brown stuff. We had the segment that went away. Kind of was the funny story of the week.
Yeah. AB though, that was like a good 2 or 3 month thing, where it was every week.
It was something.
It was every week, especially I would say it was from the start of training camp, because if you recall, he had that whole helmet issue and his feet.
Oh Jesus!
To then
I forgot about that.
To then him recording a conversation between him and John Gruden and posting it on YouTube, to his eventual release. And then he was accused by some women of sexual sexual assault, and then he was and then he was cut by the Pats, and he was just going on constant downward spot,
Pats, yeah.
And he would just go on Instagram and just live stream the freaking police showing up on his front lawn.
Remember who was he playing before the Pats?
Oakland,
and he videoed himself celebrating that he got released.
Oh God, that was
oh my God. I'm glad that he's kind of barely in the news right now. So yeah, I've got sports coming back, so that's going to be a big thing. Besides opening day yesterday for baseball, we got opening night for everybody else. Which is fun. Can't wait. At least our Pirates start their season tonight. Can't wait to watch that.
Yeah, and I have been talking about this with my dad too all weekend. Just our expectations are pretty damn low this year, man. I'm not sure how you feel, but if they win over 25 games, I'll be surprised. I'm just being completely honest, and just by looking at that opening day lineup of theirs, without Polanco in right field, it's just like, oh my god. Like, I mean, outside of Josh Bell, they don't really have any other power in that lineup. Now Reynolds has been he was pretty good last year. It's going to be a question. Was that just a like 1 year fling, or can he continue that? I was kind of hoping that they were going to try and have more of an influx of their younger prospects, such as Brian Hayes at third base. I would really have liked that. I would have liked to them take a chance on like Will Craig and just throw him at, either at first or as a like designated hitter, just because obviously this whole entire season that the DH role is completely universal now. So but at the same time too, they'll probably end up calling up some people, because as we know, Matt, injuries are bound to happen, so
or COVID.
or COVID. So I'm hoping that we get to see some of these other guys, just because if you're the Pirates, what do you have to exactly lose? It's clearly going to be a pretty down year for them, even with a expanded postseason. It's just, a lot of this starting pitching is pretty unproven. I mean, outside of Trevor Williams has been pretty up and down. Like Musgrove is probably our best pitcher as of now. Hopefully Keller can try and equate some of his success at AAA and bring it up here on the majors, because that's been a big problem.
What I'm gonna watch out for
mm-hmm.
the pitching philosophy and the coach, our new coach.
It can't be any worse than what it was with Searage,
No, yeah, even though he was praised in the early days for what he did, but the whole develop brain, I don't know, something's law of averages, something's gonna work out. So we got that. What else? We're gonna change. This is a terrible transition. What the hell? I'll just change it up. There's some Star Wars news. Seems,
which has also been a pretty big topic on this podcast, because when the Mandalorian came along, which that was a pretty big pop culture thing, because the only thing people were talking about was Baby Yoda, and the phrase "this is the way."
I have spoken,
and I have spoken.
That was just a big hit for Disney. So two topics right now. One about the new trilogy. At least the first movie, reportedly directed by Taika Waititi. I probably misspelled. I butchered that name. I know. Good director. He did some stuff in Mandalorian and Thor, Ragnarok, and all that. So those trilogy movies have been pushed back.
I'm guessing because of COVID.
Yes. Yeah. So the first one apparently will debut December 22nd of 2023, and then in 2 years for the second and third one, so 2023, 2025, and 2027. And Avatar, just to switch it up, the movie, I believe, has been pushed back to 2022. I guess it was originally announced for, according here, this is Engadget.com, again, link below in the description, had originally been announced for 2014. And
Really?
it's just been kept pushing back. Apparently,
we're going on over 6 years now. Jesus Christ!
I mean, this is a sequel to Avatar, like, which came out, and Jesus, I don't even know when. So
I think I was either late in high school or like really early in college. Had to have been
the first Avatar.
Yeah, had to have been in like high school.
I thought that was
still had to have been in high school.
2009.
Okay, yeah, I was a senior in high school.
Yeah, it was a junior. Yeah.
Wow, Jesus.
Which I thought that earlier, but like back then, that was like, the like big technological movie.
Right.
Everybody was talking about. And then the next quick story is that there's now a rumored Disney Plus Lando Calrissian show.
Yeah,
and
I did hear.
And then
I did hear
possibly Donald Glover coming back to reprise the role of Lando. I guess this was broke. Again, this is via inverse.com. I guess this was announced on a podcast called Kessel Run Transmissions that apparently broke the news of the Bad Batch animated series coming next year. So there's a reputation there. So we'll see what happens. See what the story, if this is happening, might entail. They mentioned his article, possibly building his empire in Cloud City or the criminal underworld. This could also add on to the cliffhanger in the movie. At the very end of Solo, spoilers, Darth Maul showed up. So we'll see if that would, carry on. See what happens. So you have that possibly coming. The Bad Batch coming next year. So there's still some Star Wars stuff, and obviously the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, which is out there. So there's some Star Wars stuff, and then like last year,
like a Marvel too.
There's Marvel stuff. Yeah. I think ramping up next year. Yeah.
Are they still planning on releasing all of those shows, or did all of them
get pushed back?
Because I haven't heard, because I think Winter Soldier and Falcon was slated to be released in, I want to say in September or something like that. And season 2 of The Mandalorian, I believe, was in October.
With the Verge here, says, blah 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 blah. Disney Plus. Here's the title. Disney Plus first big Marvel series of Falcon and Winter Soldier is officially delayed.
Okay.
So it was supposed to come out
in September or
August.
Or August,
I guess this month.
And because
so it's been delayed. So there's not, I don't think, been a release date. So
it's
probably gonna come
in 2021.
So Black Widow and the Eternals have been movies have been delayed. So Black Widow is November 6th from May 1st.
For now.
For now. I guess next year would is this year. Yeah. And then Eternals November 6th to February 12th, 2021. They say here it's unclear if Marvel's WandaVision, which was moved from 2021 to December 2020, will be impacted.
Yeah, they're like, I think that was supposed to come out in December, if memory serves
December of
correctly.
This year. Yes. So right now nobody really knows. It's kind of like until you like see an announcement, nobody, like, everything is all screwed up.
Go the fuck away, COVID. Go the fuck away. You're ruining everything, I tell you. But yeah, like hopefully we get those, or we get some more clarity on when those things are actually going to debut, because
anyway, there's Loki 2.
Yep.
It's here via Collider.
Yeah.
Early 2021. There's no news. What if mid 2021?
For now.
Hawkeye. Late 2021. As what? Miss Marvel. I guess that's rumored doesn't have a name. Moon Knight. So all this stuff. So like, She-Hulk too. So all this stuff is supposed to come next year. Like just start really getting into high gear. Whether or not stuff gets impacted and move,
right,
we'll see. You just have movies on that Christopher Nolan movie, Tenet, got pushed back to next year. I don't know.
Pretty much any pending film,
big blockbuster movie,
unless your Netflix is getting pushed back. So, and some other things that are being affected by COVID, and we go back to Major League Baseball, Matt. Pittsburgh was supposed to get a second baseball team for the 2020 season, but according to Tom Wolf and the Pennsylvania State Department, they have said no. Pretty much the city of Pittsburgh, in Major League Baseball, they had everything agreed to where the Toronto Blue Jays, they would be playing all of their home games in Pittsburgh for the 2020 season, because Canada is not allowing any games at their home, and because that Pennsylvania rejected them, I believe now they're going to be playing over in Buffalo. I believe that was reported earlier today, which is Friday, by the way, when we are recording this podcast, Matt. So with all of that being said, what is the actual rationale behind the state and the governor for not allowing this?
We have the quote from our Secretary of Health, says, and this is where stuff doesn't add up. And I quote, "To add travelers to this region for any reason, including for professional sports events, risks residents, visitors, and members of both teams. We know that this virus does not discriminate. It can even make professional athletes very sick. We are committed to protecting the health and well-being of all Pennsylvanians." Okay, that's all well and good, but
there's just one slight problem with that.
We're still playing baseball, and both Pittsburgh and Philadelphia and teams from out of state are coming in. From Pittsburgh, for the Pirates, you have the Cubs, St. Louis,
which by the way,
Cincinnati.
Also, by the State Department coming up with this decision, you're now turning away a lot of extra money coming into the freaking state. And
Toronto's going to have to play in Philly, because I think they played they don't play the Phillies.
No, they're supposedly going to be playing all of other home games. And
but I'm thinking they don't play Philly at all during the season.
I don't believe so.
I know, no. But they're playing New York. All those teams. So in Philly, I forget who Philly's playing, but probably the Mets,
Atlanta.
So from the south, so you're bringing people in. You say to add travelers to this region for any reason. You're bringing teams in, anyways. People from out of the state. It's not like they're in a bubble. Everybody's all in the city and just taking turns. So that statement alone doesn't make any sense.
Nope.
And then, why do you wait till the last minute when you probably clearly see the news?
They were in talks with the Pirates for a good few weeks. So if you knew that you did not want them in, you probably should have put in a call to either with the Pirates' ownership or with Major League Baseball and saying, hey,
or both,
and probably both, like say, hey, we see that you're trying to give these guys just so you are aware, we're not going to be allowing any of them to come in. So why don't you just say that from the get-go instead of just wait until basically that these guys are on the freaking goal line and they're ready to sign everything, and now just cause more headaches and more confusion in a situation that's already very confusing as it is.
You're telling me nobody, staff or around in the Harrisburg is on Twitter and or watches the news and sees it and it's close with either Dr. Levin or Wolf and saying, hey,
every national baseball
did you see
writer was reporting this, from Ken Rosenthal to John Heyman to every single Pirates beat writer. It was all around baseball.
Writers in Canada.
Exactly, it was everywhere. So
and you don't have anybody goes, hey,
I'm like, hey,
did you see this? Are you gonna let this happen? Like, this is okay? Oh, no. Maybe we should say something.
And I fail to see how this is going to be any sort of health risk whatsoever, since no one can attend any of these games. Do you really think that people from New York or Canada or whatever are going to come in knowing that they can't actually be at the ballpark? Like, it just, I feel like that a lot of these people just are just doing this just strictly for political reasons, and that's, I think, is what is also pissing off a lot of people.
It's the thing. It's the statement that was said about bringing in other people when you're clearly bringing in other people for other games for both the Phillies and the Pirates. Mm-hmm. You're bringing people in, so one more team that did it for you.
I mean, it literally, and Matt, on top of that, we're still playing football, in case you guys didn't know. So which those rosters have a lot more people.
And apparently we're allowed to have people in the stands. You have to wear a mask. That is going to go over so freaking well, because this is what's going to happen. Unless you ban tailgating, right? You're going to have people tailgating. They're going to be drunk, and people are going to probably buy drinks unless you ban alcohol there, and that's going to be a whole different issue in stadiums. Yeah. And people are going to drink during the game or eat during the game in their seats, and they're going to have their masks, and it's going to be down. You're going to have the ushers have to go and make, hey, sir, put your mask on. I'm drinking here. And then they're going to be drunk, and there are going to be fights. And, of course, it's not going to be probably full capacity.
No.
But, so this is what I'm saying. Stuff doesn't make sense. Like, if the NFL is allowing fans in the stands, why can't MLB fill up half the stadium?
Because
right?
I'll tell you why, man.
But you're allowed to play teams both in the states with the cases in the state are going up, but you say you can't have any outside travelers.
Well, because as you know, man, the NFL generates a lot of revenue, especially for any Steeler and Eagles games, which is probably a lot more than what's happening with the Pirates and the Phillies.
Yeah, but still, that's still more. That's more money.
I know,
in their pockets, buying stuff, buying food, buying merchandise for the teams.
Right.
Paying the parks, parking authorities, parking companies, or other restaurants outside the stadiums that if you do you keep the mask policy and only have the beer when you're eating and you can't stand at the bar and stuff, and maybe if you work half capacity and it's not gonna be as busy because only at PNC Park, but if you have 15 or you cut it down to 10,000, if that,
right.
and you socially you sell so many seats so far apart, and in sections that's easier for people to tell people like you get to put your mask on. If not, you're kick out. Like that's much more crowd control.
Yep.
You get security, and if nobody's complying with the mask, if they're clearly not eating or drinking,
I mean, like I think
mask you're out.
I mean, I think what they're going to have to do at these games, they're going to have to ban alcohol sales, just because I just don't think that you're going to be able to control.
Yeah, which you know what? If you can't, let me tell you right now, if you go to a game and you can't make it through a game without an alcoholic beverage, I think there's something wrong with you, because we've been legal age to drink for what, like 9
years for me, yeah,
9 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many times when we've gone to a Pirate game, have we bought an alcoholic beverage?
I mean, like for me, I have been doing that as of lately more, but
at a game,
at a game, just because like because I like having at least one beer, yeah.
But you mostly drink like a pop or a water, right? Most of the time. Majority of the time throughout these 9 years.
Yeah. From time.
And if you couldn't, for some reason, couldn't drink alcohol at a game, would you be upset? And
no, I don't go for those games just.
And plus you want to save money. You don't want to pay a price for a ticket for a beer or like those mixed drinks like.
Nothing is as bad as
drink outside the stadium is cheaper. Just drink water or pop or
PBG Paints Arena. I think I paid almost $20 for a freaking double captain and Coke.
That was a double there.
That was a double.
Say I will not get mixed drinks at a stadium. No, unless no. Because the prices inflate to make everybody makes money. It's terrible. Yeah. So I can see I am fine with cutting alcohol. There's obviously going to be people like, oh, I'm not going to go to games now. I'm not going to be able to get a bus. Go down to your damn beer distributor, wine and spirits, buy that, and sit home and watch the game, and then you can get. There you go.
Which I guarantee.
Which is probably cheaper than drinking 2 beers. The big ones at a stadium,
which I guarantee you is what a lot of people are gonna do, anyways. So,
hypothetically, if they allowed 10,000 people in, right, fans and anything, would you go to a game?
No.
Okay.
And even
football or baseball.
For baseball, I might think about it, but at the same time, it's like. Is it really worth it? Do I really want to go? And as far as of now, no. Like until this thing is at least controlled, I'm not going to put myself out there because even if you do go, more than likely you'll probably have to get freaking tested afterwards, which I just do not want to go through. And yeah, it's just not worth it.
I would entertain the idea, but I'm different because I work there, so I'd be there more, and I'd be more. Well, I'd be isolated in the office anyways, so it wouldn't affect me as much. I'm walking around. If I have a mask, I'm not as worried.
Right.
Walk around. If I really don't talk to anybody, just grab the stuff or grab the money and just walk around. And I'm not as that bad, but obviously, if it's lesser people, there's going to be, let's say, 10,000. There's less lines. Obviously, when you get a pack stadium in any sport, lines at bathrooms or concessions are just insane, and you can't socially distance. But with only 10,000, I think it's better. I would entertain it. If I went, I would make sure I was like avoiding people like the plague, but it would be just unique experience just to say you did it. But it would be different because I would work there probably and get paid, so it would be okay. So yeah, that was interesting. The week, the whole Pittsburgh Blue Jays saga, if you will.
Yeah, needless to say, I mean, like, I'm not sure if you saw what like Dejan Kovacevic said. Like, he was really animated just how stupid the whole thing was in the decision that came down. It's just just like you're hurting a lot of the actual businesses too, that are currently I'm still open to that is.
Yeah.
It just like it just feels so political and just doesn't make any damn sense. But yeah, let's move on here. We also had some speaking of the NFL, Matt, we had some more Washington Redskins, or the former Washington Redskins,
the club formerly known as,
yeah, which now they're just going by the Washington football team. Essentially, they are
until they find a name.
Yeah, so pretty much. Obviously, it's way too close, for up against the season. So they're pretty much are going to be playing the whole entire season without an actual name. Which, by the way, I believe that the Steelers play them, I think, in week 13 or something. So, but I'm just very it was pretty funny just because there were so many people just crapping on that. But I kind of understand just because like how close that this all came in, that pretty much they had to do everything just to finally make Dan Snyder change the team's name, because like he didn't care about the public backlash. But when big sponsors such as Nike pull out, yeah, definitely that was going to finally make him change. So what was your initial reaction when you heard that, Matt?
The change in name?
Yeah.
If
you want to call it that.
To what it is now, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I kind of agree with you. It is kind of too close unless they quickly come up with one. They officially said that's what they were going with for the whole season. Mm-hmm. Is that what they said?
I believe so. Just because I don't think. Well, we're about 50 days from the season. So the fact that they came out with a press release, I would imagine they're probably are going with this for the whole
which
season.
It is what it is.
Right.
What are you gonna do? It's just in the end of the day, it's just a name. Yeah. And yeah, it might go in the record books and look weird, but I don't know. I'm not going to get too worked up on it. I'm not. It is.
No, I'm not either. So I mean,
it's a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing. Also, we had some hockey news as well. Seattle now has a national hockey team. They're now going to be known as the Seattle Kraken, who, by the way, have a great name. First of all, second of all, I love their freaking logo. It's amazing,
and I love the uniform.
Yep. I do too.
Let me tell you, I'm just every fiber of my being is trying to stop me from just yelling, "Release the Kraken!" And if that's not incorporated in some aspect of that team, then whoever's running that teams are idiots. I'm sorry, but I was. The name was weird to me at first, like initially, but when you think about it and let it soak in, I kind of like it. It's unique. So they're coming in the league not next year, but the year after.
Yeah, I believe that they are doing the same exact format as they did with the Golden Knights.
Expansion draft.
Yeah. I would imagine though that like Matt Murray might be part of that team. Or part of that expansion draft,
or at least the pool of players that are unprotected.
Yeah, because I mean, like, and just based on how things have been going for the team and the contracts that they currently have, I will be very surprised if they re-signed him to a big contract. Just because I think in my opinion,
is he a RFA after this year?
I believe so. So I mean, I just
UFA 1
right.
2.
I just don't think that in today's hockey league that you should pay for your goaltender big time cash. I think that is the one thing that is being proven with the Penguins run in the last 5 years. They have. I mean, obviously on Fleury, he was making around like what 6 or 7 per.
Yeah.
But
deservedly so.
Yeah. But he was then obviously he obviously got him dealt to Golden.
He was getting up there in age because if you sign him too long, then and to be fair,
he was being outplayed too.
Matt Murray, still a rookie, like winning like 2 cups, and he was. Everybody craps on Matt Murray. Like, I swear, like goalies are like quarterbacks in the NFL. Which if you have one bad game and you have another goalie, a backup goalie that a little bit hot. Or whatever, everybody's like, well, Matt Murray sucks. We'll get rid of him. And I'm like,
he doesn't. His main problem is
the glove hand.
Between that and his constant injuries, concussions especially have been a big problem for him, and just especially this season, he has been outplayed a lot. Now, before the whole entire pandemic happened. He was starting to play a little bit better, but it was a constant struggle, and he was up and down a lot, and that's why it got to the point to where Coach Sullivan had to put in like Jari,
and he played out of his freaking mind. So you can say that he's part of the reason why the Penguins are where they are right now in the standings.
Which I do think that I will be very surprised if they do resign a Murray. I don't think it's going to be for too much, and I believe that they actually re-signed a. I believe they re-signed a. I'm like Jari already.
Whoever his agent is going to try to give him as much money as possible because he's got 2 Stanley Cups in like how many years on his resume.
And to me, that's going to be really interesting on the Seattle franchise because how many 2-time Stanley Cup champions are going to be out there? It's basically another Fleury situation.
I think he's at RFA, so the Pirates are on the right. So they have
Penguins. You mean?
What did I say? Pirates. Sorry, that's on my mind in an hour here.
Yeah.
The Penguins. Yeah, I think he's an RFA, meaning they own the rights, so they're allowed to match and offer from any other team.
Right.
I gotta make sure he's RFA. But so if there is a team, and now this is going to be that 1 year gap between Seattle, so depending if he leaves just based on just free agency, so that's going to be interesting if they want to match or not. And it all depends on everything else with every other contract going around.
I could also see too as a possibility, possibly Hornquist. I think could be one of the guys left unprotected because for him as well, he is getting up there in age, and two, he's been battling through a lot of injuries on top of that, and they are really tied up against that salary cap right now, and they resign guys such as Hensel, who by the way deserves every cent of that contract. I mean, hell, will probably go down as Sidney Crosby's best winger. That I mean probably outside of like Hossa, but that was like such a like short sample size that I don't think that you can really say that. And before he got hurt, I mean, he was on pace for probably 50 goals at the time. So
Cancel?
Yeah, he was
hot.
He was probably on pace for that.
So they like the Penguins have, I think, cap space of 792,598 right now. So let me find Matt Murray.
And obviously we have Jason Zucker for I believe three more seasons too. So like they, they're going to have to they're going to definitely have to make some moves here. But yeah.
Am I blind?
Why
can't I find Matt? Oh, there he is. Holy crap! Like I was.
To answer your question, man, yes, you are probably blind.
I'm looking for alphabetical. So he is cap hit of 3,750,000. Let me click on him. I would think he would have said so. He is a restricted free agent. After this year.
Okay, so if I had to guess, they'll probably just try and like tender him this year, and see if any other team is gonna give him make a deal, which I would imagine that someone probably will, just because if you look at the National Hockey League, there's a lot of extremely bad there are a lot of pretty bad teams with pretty bad goaltending there. So I gotta think that someone is going to do something. I cannot foresee Rutherford paying out the ass to keep him. And I think they're gonna go with Jari. And if they weren't so strapped against the salary cap, I think that they would probably resign him. But with the additions of like Zucker, them resigning Jake, they're going to have to make some pretty hard decisions here, So yeah, there was that. Other news, Matt. The NFL and the NFL Players Association have come to a agreement about the whole COVID rules and stuff. Amazing that the freaking NFL and their Players Association can get all of these details hammered out, but then you look at freaking Major League Baseball and their players. It just goes to show you where, with the leadership and everything, like, where all of that's actually stands. And like and by no means, Matt, am I saying with Goodell he's a that he's perfect, but Jesus Christ, compared to like freaking Manfred, who completely butchered the whole entire COVID situation. I mean, how many times had he flip flopped on there being and
There's one big time
a season? Like, it's just amazing to me now. With the players, there were I believe 3 no's on the plan that was agreed to, whereas 29 said yes. So for the most part, everyone is pretty on board, and from all accounts, Matt, everything is all good to go now. I'm still skeptical how this is going to exactly work, just because with a lot more people, how's that going to affect, like, how consistent is testing going to be? So like, it's going to be very interesting to keep an eye on, but like, we're getting pretty close to the actual start of the season. We're under 50 days away now. It's going to be September 8th or whatever,
something like that, yeah.
Before you know it. So with them agreeing to that, I gotta think that college football is going to have some sort of the season, whether it's just with the ACC, Big Ten, SEC, and all of those schools just having games, because obviously we have been seeing that, where a lot of conferences are just canceling seasons, are canceling all fall sports there. So it's going to be very interesting. Were you surprised at how easily this seemed to just be?
In a way, yes.
Yeah, like, just solely because of how difficult that was with the NBA, NHL, and
because it's
Major League Baseball.
Because it's the NFL and everything's overcomplicated.
Yeah.
But
man, they just
it just somehow works. So
it somehow works, and now this is going to hopefully create a lot of transparency, a lot of less confusion, and now that we pretty much know we're going to have an actual season now, I think that's going to help a lot of these guys, because now we at least know what the hell we're going to be doing, and that's what I am really excited about. And last bit of NFL news: Antonio Brown, our buddy Antonio Brown, is back in the news again. Now, on 2 separate occasions, by the way. He just couldn't help himself. Now, supposedly earlier in the week, he went onto Instagram and said that he is officially, or he hinted that he is done. He is retiring, which is funny, because then 48 hours later, Matt, he calls out the NFL for not giving more of an update on his current situation for him to get back into football. So the first thing I said, weren't you retired about 48 hours ago? I guess not, but with all of that being said, Matt, I still don't see any team picking this guy up now.
No.
Like,
why would you?
I mean, like, do you want this freaking diva on your team, especially now with everything going on with COVID? Do you really want to deal with him?
He might retire halfway through a game.
It would not surprise me.
He might retire halfway through a game at this point. So I don't know. Don't know. I at this point I don't care. Like, it's like, why is he the way that he is?
It's like he needs to be in the spotlight. It's just how he is. He can't help himself. He just cannot help himself. He has to say something to get people talking. Like he's pretty much a like, you know, real life professional wrestler who has to say something just so ridiculous to where it gets people talking, but at the same time just makes them look even more foolish. Like, with everything that he has gone through in the last 18 months, why would anyone even remotely consider signing you? Like, I don't care that you have been being I'm like mentored by like Deion Sanders. Like, the damage has been done. Not to mention, I believe he is 33 years old now, or somewhere around there. Like,
yep.
You know, you're losing more and more time, and that's something he does not have right now.
He did that to himself.
Yep.
It's only him to blame.
He would have went, like, he's probably the best Steelers wide receiver in their history, but he will never ever get recognized for it. Like, which is a shame to say, but he burned every single bridge in the city. He was one of the top
three. Blew it up, then blew up, then burned the remains.
He was
of Burgess.
Like, outside of like Ben, Sidney Crosby, Andrew McCutcheon, and probably Mario, was the most popular athlete in this town. And within a span of about 3 months, like, he had every single person in the city hating him. Like, if he came here, he would get the biggest heel reaction. Like, I cannot think, like, and as much as Barry Bonds was hated and Yammer Yager was hated after he left, it does not even compare to the hatred that the city has for this man, because at least for them, for those guys, they did not embarrass themselves like he did, just consistently.
The whole country hates him.
The whole country hates him. Like, I mean, how do you think
everybody?
How do you think that freaking Raiders fans feel about him? Like, just
never played a game.
Not to mention, was talking up about this whole entire time how the Steelers never ever respected him, and calling Tomlin and freaking Ben a racist and shit like that. I mean, hell, I can't tell you how many times I was defending Ben on the regular basis, and I was like, okay, you ask any of his offensive linemen, you ask his past teammates, hell, even James Harrison, who has been saying a lot of really stupid shit on top of that, has never said that Ryan Clark has been on the record. Like, Ben is not a perfect teammate, but like, this notion that Ben hates black people, it was driving me insane, to say the least. But
and Ryan Clark has been vindicated of everything he's saying.
Absolutely. Hell, like,
people are like, I don't know, and then Antonio Brown does his thing, and everybody's like,
he cussed out
Dick.
Right. He cussed out Dick LeBeau, who is by far the most loved Steelers assistant coach that I have ever seen. I have not seen one ex-player ever talk badly about that man, and he cussed him out. And freaking Ryan Clark said Troy almost killed him when he was that disrespectful. If you have Troy Polamalu pissed off at you, you know that you have really screwed up, because as you know, with him, Troy, he's pretty to himself and pretty mellow. I mean, like, that's all that really needs to be said about that clown.
Yep.
Two more things here. I'm like, Mookie Betts, Matt, is a very rich man now. He has come to a contract agreement with the LA Dodgers on a new 12-year, $350 million contract. As we all know, he was acquired in a deal with the Boston Red Sox that also includes such as David Price. So now he will be most likely finishing his career with the LA Dodgers. Matt, what was your first reaction to this deal?
Money. Yeah.
And what's insane, Matt? It's still like almost $70 million short than what like Trout's making.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. I don't know. I don't know if you. I don't see. The first thing when I say Mookie Betts, I think good, but it was like Mike Trout good. I don't know that money, but regardless,
Mookie Betts, he is a top 3 player in this game, though. He, like, in my opinion, he deserves every cent.
He's good,
yeah.
But like him to me didn't scream out 300. But anyways, that's just me being maybe ignorant of the fact. But he's good. Mm-hmm. He's good for the rest of his life. He can tail off at the end. It doesn't matter. He's still getting paid.
Yeah. And two, I think he's like, how old is he, by the way?
I don't have a clue.
I'm gonna look at that right now, actually. So he just signed. Okay, so he's 27, and he's 27 now. So he will be essentially 39 years old when this contract's over. So yeah, he's pretty much a Dodger for the rest of his career.
Yep.
If he ever reaches the end of that contract.
So he's a year younger than me, and making I don't even want to know how many times more money. Like, put that in perspective. Like, holy crap, he's same age as me, and the hell am I doing with my life?
Mm-hmm. All right, and then the final thing we're going to discuss here, Matt, is the all-important AEW and NXT ratings. Now, as for this week, I was very surprised, actually. I knew that probably AEW was going to win.
Yes.
I did not expect them to win by over 230,000 viewers.
Holy crap.
Like, that shocked me. And according to like Dave Meltzer,
Uncle Dave,
this, and when I told Matt this, he was stunned. Supposedly the match between the Bucks,
the last 5 minutes,
for the last 5 minutes between the Bucks and Butcher and the Blade did over 1 million viewers, and this was also confirmed by Tony Khan.
Of course it was.
Well too. I mean, like, I would hope that he would know, since he's,
Yeah,
but
it's all about them damn ratings.
Yep. So All Elite Wrestling did 845,000 to NXT's 615,000, and in the all important 18 to 49 demo, All Elite Wrestling did a 0.32 to NXT's 0.17. Dynamite, they were ranked on 5th on a cable to NXT that was ranked on like 35 on cable. Like I said, I did expect for them to win, but man, like 845,000, which, by the way, is their highest total viewers since like March 18th, I believe. So
before right after COVID.
Yep. So
So I don't make a big. I'm not making a big.
No.
Oh, doom and gloom.
No.
Because was it several weeks ago or whatever? I don't even know the exact dates. It was like almost flip flop that NXT killed AEW by 200,000. So now it's flipped this week.
And two,
it is what it is. Like, I don't lose sleep.
No, I don't either. And two, I'm calling this at least for the next few weeks. Now with with like takeover happening in like about 4 weeks here, and All Out is happening in about 5 weeks. We're going to be seeing some pretty competitive shows.
We would hope.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, hell, just with the amount of stories going into with Dynamite into with everything going on over on NXT with Keith Lee dropping his North American title,
carrying Cross.
Yeah.
You have the triple threat matches for the ladder match and takeover for the North American title.
Right.
And other feuds going on.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I say NXT, people have said this, and I tend to agree, and it doesn't hurt. I think NXT, I think what's hurt them, I think they need to put out what's happening in advance.
And that is something that every single week with Tony Khan, he announces matches right before the show even ends. You know what's happening on the following week. And like, it's just like, and I really appreciate that. And that is something that has been really missing everywhere. Like, for a constant weekly TV show, give your fans a reason to tune in. And I don't think that it is really asking too much. And something that freaking Eric Bischoff said, which makes no sense to me. He was saying that it was stupid to consistently hype up matches every single week, which I don't understand. I'm like, don't you want people tuning in, or to tell them, hey, we have like this and this happening? Which, by the way, with Dynamite, they advertised it was like 4 or 5 matches like before the show even ended. Like I'm not used to that, just because whenever you see Raw, SmackDown, like, you are fortunate if they even advertise 1 or 2 matches. So I really do appreciate that, and it's pretty clear a lot of AEW's fans appreciate that, and I'm hoping that's something that they continuously do, just because I think it's a great way to try and get some more people to watch your show.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was that. I was hoping that we would have the quarterlies, but for some reason those things,
I don't think they're out. Either they're not out or delayed, or nobody has them.
That's kind of surprising to me. But
maybe tomorrow. Who knows?
Yeah, but I think this is probably a good place for us to stop here, Matt.
Yes.
This was a fun episode. 50.
50.
And
big 50.
And like many more to come here. So
let's do another 50.
Absolutely. So yeah, guys. Thank you for tuning in. As always, Matt and I, we will be back on the channel every Wednesday for our Dynamite and NXT reaction. And also too, I kind of talked about this earlier. Any sort of like extra news, I'm probably going to be incorporating that onto there, just to kind of limit some of the wrestling talk on here, and just like make that strictly a wrestling podcast there. So yeah, definitely definitely stay tuned for that, and follow our Twitter page. We talk wrestling and like MMA, which by the way this weekend is going to be a really big MMA weekend. Bellator is finally back.
Be damn.
And obviously on Saturday a really fun card with like Darren Till, and Robert Whitaker. I will be on there tweeting live for that show as well. So comment, like, subscribe, and we shall see you on Wednesday. Have a good night, everyone.